Well, hello there, Libra. How are you? It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we're just checking in, seeing what you need to know at this time. So this video really is good for whenever you find it. We'll take a look first at the overall energy with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for more details about any obstacles on your path or areas of resistance, and of course, advice from spirit. Okay, so let's see what you have on the horizon. Great adventure. Take a risk, venture forward, and bad spirit. Rebirth is assured. Okay, so this is the Hanged Man energy. So the energy that I'm getting here is that you've been holding yourself back, trying to see a different perspective of your own life, or waiting for an opportunity, something here. Because the Hanged Man is the energy of having to stay still for a little bit, right? Hang upside down, see the world in a different perspective. Just kind of like allowing yourself, or maybe even spirit has put you into a position where you're just having to wait, And I feel like you're coming out of that energy. But if you feel like you've been stuck, like you haven't been able to go on the adventure of your life, it's really a sense of stepping into the energy of understanding that there was a different perspective of something, whether that's a past relationship, a past situation, or something that's even going on in your life now. But with the rebirth, I feel like something occurred a while ago, and you just hadn't quite yet been ready to move on to the next chapter. You may have said that you were ready to move on, right? But there's something here where you were held back. Spirit wanted you to see the situation from a different perspective. And for some of you, you may have been, I don't want to say stubborn, but kind of like in an energy of looking at the situation only perhaps from your perspective. But here's the wonderful thing, and I think you had this come out in your reading last week. You now have gained the perspective of the other person. It does not mean that one perspective is necessarily right and the other is wrong, because our truth is our truth, and the truth that the other person had in this situation, and I feel like it's a conflict, some type of relationship where you didn't see eye to eye with somebody else, right? But understanding that your truth is your truth and that person's truth is their truth. And sometimes when we can just allow ourselves to be in the situation of understanding that the other person has a different perspective, it doesn't mean, sometimes our ego tries to convince us, okay, that if somebody has a different perspective of a situation, then one of us has to be right and one of us has to be wrong. And of course, our ego always wants to be right. So for a time, your ego could have tricked you into thinking that you were right about something and somebody else was wrong. But now I feel like you've balanced that energy out. You've allowed yourself to see the perspective of the other person. You may not have agreed with it, but there's something here about gaining the insight, the wisdom of being able to see somebody else's perspective of a situation. Really kind of interesting energy there, because what this does is that when we can open ourselves up to seeing the other side of some situation, it sets us free. It allows us to let go. And I know that for some of you, what I think last week was about forgiveness, right? And one of the things about forgiveness is it is not condoning what somebody's actions or words or pain that they inflicted on others. It's not condoning that. Forgiveness is really about allowing ourselves to be free of the situation, of finding peace in the situation, of allowing ourselves to let go of any resentment, regrets, shame, guilt, anger, frustration, It's just this energy of freeing. And once again, it's not condoning anybody's actions or words. It's not condoning. It's allowing there to be forgiveness, of letting yourself to have freedom from the situation, to releasing the emotions in a certain situation so that you can be free to move forward without the emotions, the baggage of resentment, anger, frustration, right? And that's why I feel like in this case, it's not necessarily that you are, for some of you, you may be like a rebirth. It could be reuniting with somebody, perhaps that you haven't talked to in a long time. But forgiveness isn't necessarily about actually having a conversation. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it does help to clear the air, right? But this is an energy of understanding that you're loving the situation and the wisdom that it brought to you, the insight. Yeah, this has helped you. Look at, you have the peace card of being able to go forward in this sense of love and peace for the situation, the person that you had the conflict with, but most importantly, yourself. Yeah, I think that the reading that you had last week, and here you are, you're on the bottom, right? The justice, finding peace in a situation, right? And I know some of you last week, because you had a similar reading last week. This one is, I have to say, I feel like for many of you, you've made a big change in your energy. A lot of you may have done that sense of forgiveness, right? The Oponopo prayer, the Hawaiian prayer, is a beautiful way of stepping into this sense of forgiveness. And once again, forgiveness isn't anything except allowing ourselves to release the emotions around a certain situation, of allowing ourselves to see the insight, the wisdom, to gain it. And it's a very spiritual thing, Libra. You have had, out of all the signs, you have really had some extremely spiritual readings. This is, very much that energy of understanding soul contracts, understanding that the situation, this relationship was on your path to help you to open up, to see different perspectives of a situation. Once again, not condoning, but not judging, right? There's no right or wrong. Understanding that everybody's perception of the situation is their truth. Your truth is your truth, and somebody else's truth is their truth. And you may not agree, but it's also about understanding, okay, I can now allow myself to release. And I think some of you really, over the last week or so, have done a lot of work of allowing yourself to let go of those emotions, the negative emotions around a certain situation, so that you can be released and go forward in a beautiful way. And especially with the True Love card, this is about allowing yourself to look in the mirror and feel this sense of peace, feel extremely proud of the way that you are handling the situation, but it's also this energy of no longer having any, it really is that sense of regret or anguish or hurt or pain. When we truly step into that energy of forgiveness, then what happens is we have this true sense of peace. We can allow that situation to just be part of our experience here, and it doesn't have any anchor to it, right? It doesn't hold us back anymore from what it is that we truly want and desire for ourselves. This is being able to look in the mirror and say, yes, understanding that, okay, so I think part of it is understanding, yes, you played some part in whatever conflict may have occurred, right? It's never one-sided. It never is. But it's also kind of like, even if you have any regrets or shame or guilt, okay, and a lot of times we do have a little bit of that, even though the other person may have done painful things. Sometimes we're also in a sense of looking at the actions or reactions we had when we were hurt, right? And this is understanding, well, wait a minute, that was on my journey. I see this in a different way. And I think that that's when you know that you are truly healed. When you can sit there and say, yes, I truly wish them well. I wish myself well. I wish them well. I have peace in the situation. And I'm no longer, carrying any emotions. It's just releasing the emotions around a painful situation. So let's take a look at your present energy. Yes, I feel like you are. You're putting your time and energy into going towards what it is that you truly want. But the reason you can do that is because you took the time to understand that this person was a soul contract. You have a soul contract with this person. You may have cleared out that contract now, okay? But at the same time, they were a teacher to you and you were a teacher to them. Understanding what a soul contract is that the two of you signed up to have this situation, this relationship in your life, and to open up to the lessons that relationship showed. When you can get to that point, and I know it's not easy, it's not easy, but when you get to that point where you can see the connection for what it was on a spiritual sense, it really does help to take out the angst of the situation and helps you to see it in a more peaceful way. And I think that that's what you're doing. Yeah, I think you're able to say, I'm ready. I'm, King of Wands, spiritual teacher card. I'm ready to be able to move forward. I want to share the wisdom that I have gained out of this situation. Some of you may actually become like counselors or therapists or start support groups for the type of situation that you have encountered. Others of you may have opened up to your spiritual gifts and be starting like a spiritual business to help others. Because when we really go through this, and Libra, I think most of you that are drawn to this channel have gone through this situation where you have truly healed the situation. You have complete forgiveness in this situation. Doesn't mean that you've forgotten it, and it doesn't mean necessarily that you're reuniting with this person, but you've healed the energy around it. You've allowed yourself to release the emotions, especially the negative emotions, right, in the situation, and stepped into your higher self, and now are becoming a teacher for other people, a healer for other people, and sharing your insight, your wisdom in how you helped to heal yourself in the situation and now helping to heal other people. So let's see what your obstacle is here. Yeah, I think for some of you, you've been stuck trying to analyze it because this is our ego, right? And our ego, unfortunately, our ego keeps pulling us back into that energy of trying to prove ourselves right and somebody else wrong. And it's, it's that energy of understanding that when we're in our ego, we're not in our heart space. This is requiring you to put love into the situation, to bring a love to the situation in order to heal it. Once again, that does not mean you have to reunite with the person, right? It's just bringing love because there's only love and fear. And if you're still in an energy of fearing this person, this conflict, or having negative emotions about it, the best way to heal it is just to love it, right? Love that person, love the situation, love yourself. And that is what is so amazing about that Oponopo prayer, right? The Hawaiian prayer. It is absolutely amazing in helping you to get out of your head and back into your heart space so that you can become a healer, a teacher for other people. And it doesn't mean that you have to quit your job or your career or anything. Some of you may be called to do that, to go into a new avenue to help other people heal. But for some of you, it's just allowing yourself to step into that energy of inspiring other people to be forgiving and to allow love to come to situations that are perhaps filled with fear or anger or hatred, And if you think about it, Libra, our country, our globe really needs the love right now. And I think that that's why some of you are really in this very spiritual path, is helping to show how adding love to a situation brings healing and love and light to not just that situation and the people involved, but to the entire globe. And so you're being called to step into this energy. For some of you, I know that this is really difficult, right? You may not be quite yet ready to do that. But if you are, I encourage you to understand that I think you have done the healing. You are in that peaceful place. And now you can start sharing with the Page of Swords, start sharing your healing energy with other people. If nothing else, just inspiring them by the way that you live your own life. Okay, so let's see what your advice here is. Yes, you are truly stepping from a time where, there was confusion, darkness in your life, a lot of pain, fear because of this situation. But now you've done the healing. You've brought this energy of balance back, not only to your own life, but to the connection, even if you aren't speaking to this person. I think for some of you, you may have a conversation with this person, but that's going to be different for all of you. It's allowing yourself to say, okay, I see how this situation helped open me up to learning more about myself, right? And doing this deeper healing, this soul evolution, this personal growth that you could not have had unless you had this situation onto your path. If you read about, people that have gone through major transformations in their life, it all begins because of some tower moment. It all begins because of something that was truly painful. Rarely do we make change in our life when things are going well, right? It takes a lot for us to do that. In other words, this is the number 5, right? And 5s are all about understanding that you got to some point where you were like, I am no longer staying in this dark place. I'm no longer going to have anger or frustration or despise this person or this situation. I have to allow myself to get out of that. I have to find a way to get out of the darkness so that I can enjoy life again. And for a lot of you, you realized that meant you had to go on that transformational journey. You had to go on that healing journey. And the only way to go on that healing journey is to love yourself and love the situation, understanding that it brought you great insight, wisdom, helped you to open up yourself, helped you to peel back those conditioned layers of beliefs and mindsets that weren't in alignment with who you truly are. It helped you to open up to seeing who you really are so that you can go in this beautiful new direction. And look at this. You had the Empress on the bottom, beautiful energy, happy success, the Page of Wands and the Sun card, right? After a very long time, perhaps 9 years. Okay, of going through this difficult time of struggling to figure out, right? When we understand how these tower moments in our life affect us, it helps us to realize that and be grateful for that tower moment, because it does help us to open up to who we truly are. It makes us go down and dig deep to have the strength to go towards what it is. Look at this beautiful energy on the bottom, right? You have the Strength card, the 10 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, and the Justice, your energy. Finding this sense of happiness and joy, of enjoying relationships again, of enjoying people, of enjoying life again, after perhaps a long time of being in the dark cloud, right? And the reason is because you've added love to the situation. You've brought peace to yourself and peace to the situation. You've gotten to the point where you really can say, I wish them well. I wish myself well. I wish everybody in this situation well. And no longer keeping yourself concerned or tied up in doubt about being betrayed by this person or situations in the future. You're free from it. It's just a beautiful energy of finally being on the other side and being completely free, and now being in a position where you can go out and help other people to heal. Wow, beautiful energy, Libra. All right, so let's pull the Soul Truth card for some final advice. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. So let's see what we have. What do I believe about money, and do my beliefs match my dreams? Okay, so this is kind of interesting because our own self-worth is very tied to our relationship with money. The way that we either spend money, hoard money, feel about money, right? Our worthiness around money has a lot to do with how we feel about ourselves. So it says, how does your relationship with money affect your current situation? Do you believe you are worthy? Do you believe you are capable? Do you trust money, and does money trust you? Money is an energy. It ebbs and flows. You are worthy of it, and it's your responsibility to heal your relationship with money as part of your waking up to the whole of you and your purpose. And that is the whole thing here, Libra. I think you are being opened up to your purpose. You're understanding that, you could have tried to stay in a relationship or stay in a job, right? That finally took you to that tower moment. And the reason you stayed in it was because you were trying to stay safe, okay? Perhaps financially secure. Some sense of safety was tied to that relationship or that job. And then something happened. The universe knew that that person or that situation was no longer good for you. It was not in alignment with where you were going. And the tower occurred. And now you've had to go down deep. You've had to learn how to truly love yourself, whether you were financially secure or not, right? It's allowing yourself to see that you are not what you own. You are not how much money you make. You are not, the things that you own. It's understanding and loving yourself for who you are, and not the roles that you play in this world or the things that you own or don't own. So it plays out both ways. All right, Libra. Wow, what a beautiful reading. If it resonated with you, I'd love to hear how in the comments. I do love you so much, and I really appreciate all of your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Much love and light. Bye for now.